Hey everybody, welcome to Celebrate Recovery at the Common Table Online. My name is Zach. I am the area ministry leader for Celebrate Recovery, and I am glad to be able to be blessed with the opportunity to share with you tonight. Last week, I had the opportunity to join our local opioid misuse prevention program coalition. That is a mouthful. And it is a gathering of local leaders or people that are involved in services or programs that are trying to help those who are dealing with the effects or the struggles of opioid addiction and what's been happening in our local area. If you are local to the Frederick, Maryland area, I want to share some statistics that I learned last week in this meeting when we all gathered together. I know we've all heard in the news that overdoses have been increasing in 2020, especially during COVID-19, but I learned a few things that were a bit eye-opening to me. Right now in 2020 in Frederick, we're averaging 13 overdoses per month, and the fatal overdose incidents, people who actually die from an overdose, is up 19% over 2019. And of that, our area is seeing an increased number of people who are declining transport to a hospital. So an ambulance is showing up and they are turning it down or refusing it, either because they don't want to have to deal with the repercussions of it, or they maybe don't have health care, aren't able to cover the costs that are going to be associated with it. A couple other things I just want to mention. Last year in 2019, the number of people that experienced an overdose, out of them, 77% of them were connected with a resource or a program. So they either entered into an outpatient or an inpatient program, or they were connected with a resource that could help them make an adjustment in their life. This year, that percentage is down from 77% down to 49%. We're seeing less people accept transportation to a hospital or a medical facility, and we're seeing less people connected to resources or programs that might be able to help them get through what they're dealing with. So as I'm learning all these things, this is really hitting the core of me, and what I'm feeling motivated to do is find a way to help out, find a way to get plugged in and help out. So as we progress through our time tonight, I'm going to talk about a few ways that we might be able to get connected or serve the community or others around us, as well as some tangible actions that we can individually take to give back. We know that as part of Celebrate Recovery, the 12th step, the 8th principle, is all about taking what we've learned, the ways that we've grown, and giving back, spreading what we've learned, giving back to those we come in contact with. So as we progress through our evening, I just want you to think about the ways that you are or could be giving back or serving those around you. I don't want to talk too much, so let's jump right into some music to set the mood and our mindset and put our hearts in the right focus as we open our evening up tonight.
The blind will see, through you the mute will sing, through you the dead will rise, through you all hearts will praise, through you the darkness flees, through my heart screams, I am free. Yes, I am free. And I am free to run. I am free to run. And I am free to dance. Free to dance. And I am free to live for you. Free to live for you. I am free. Yes, I am free. Through you the kingdoms come. Through you the battle's won. Through you I'm not afraid. Through you the price is paid. Through you there's victory. Because of you my heart screams, I am free. Yes, I am free. And I am free to run. Free to run. And I am free to dance. Free to dance. And I am free to live for you. Free to live for you. I am free. Yes, I am free. Who the sun sets free is free indeed. Who the sun sets free is free indeed. Who the sun sets free. And I am free to run. Free to run. And I am free to dance. Free to dance. And I am free to live for you. Free to live for you. I am free. Yes, I am free.
I am a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. I struggle with my pride, compulsive behavior, a desire for perfection, and a daily battle with anxiety. And my name is Zach. There's a passage from Mark chapter 10 that says, "And Jesus called them to him and said to them, you know that those who are considered rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. But it shall not be so among you. But whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be slave of all. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." If the very Son of God came to serve others, shouldn't we do the same? I want to talk tonight about serving others and connecting with others and what part we can play in helping others and being a positive influence on the people around us. Last week I talked a bit about how we can support one another without trying to fix one another, how our mere presence can be a way of supporting and being a calming and reassurance presence for others. Tonight I want to talk about some tangible actions that we can take to serve one another or to impact the community and the world around us. And I know there are simple things that you can do. There are more complicated things. All of them take a little bit of motivation and a little bit of energy. And one of the things I love to say is that God can't steer a parked car. And where that comes from for me was years ago, I was on a missions trip in Guatemala and I shared my personal story with a missionary. And her first reaction to me was, "Wow, that is a powerful story. you need to share that with others. You need to share that anytime you get a chance. And then she said to me, you have to remember, God cannot steer a parked car. And what she meant by that, and what I now mean by that, is you have to take the first step. You have to be willing to step out, not being completely confident of what the outcome is going to be, or not being certain how people or the world around you is going to react to you. You just have to take that step of faith that you're following the will of God. We know in Celebrate Recovery that it is our goal to turn our lives and our wills over to God and to ask Him to give us guidance, to direct us in all of our actions that we take. So if you're asking Him to do that, you have to trust that when you're stepping out and taking a step, that you're doing it having His will in mind, so that you can follow the path and spread the good news to others. And just thinking some examples of ways that we can serve others in this COVID-19 situation. I don't know what you're doing in your personal situation. You might be completely social distancing yourself and not interacting with anyone in a face-to-face environment. You might be full interaction face-to-face, no mask required. Whatever your preferences are, there are opportunities for you to serve and give back. And if you're not sure, or just feel like you can't find a way to serve, or don't feel like you're quite ready to serve, you can use this time to educate yourself and become better prepared to serve. You can get plugged in on all the many resources and programs that are available online, because in the future, they may not be available as easily accessible online for you. So you can take advantage of what's available right now. I know personally, I've been involved in 5 separate trainings or seminars this summer during COVID-19. And there are always things available if you can search them out. And if you have trouble searching them out, just let me know. But if you have a passion for what I talked about earlier related to overdoses and addiction and the opioid epidemic, every Friday right now, our local health department is offering a free online overdose response training. And then I believe once a month they're offering it on Wednesday evenings as well. If you're interested or feel a passion for people that are struggling with suicidal thoughts or tendencies, there are free or very inexpensive programs available online called Talk Saves Lives or Safe Talk, or different suicide prevention trainings that you can jump right into. If you don't want to sit through a training program or a webinar or anything like that, I know you're here tonight, but you can attend multiple Celebrate Recovery meetings, or you can get involved in multiple church groups or recovery programs. They don't have to be Celebrate Recovery. You can come to Celebrate Recovery while you're going to Alcoholics Anonymous or sexual addiction groups or whatever they may be. Get plugged in, use whatever free time you have to try and give back a little bit, or educate it, or find support for yourself. I know the Celebrate Recovery national team on Saturday evenings, and then throughout the week on rare occasions as well, are putting out messages on Facebook Live. They're doing broadcasts, going through lessons. Tune in, check them out. Just go onto Facebook and search for Celebrate Recovery. Look for the group that has the most followers, and that's the Celebrate Recovery national team. Find church services, whether they're virtual, whether they're meeting in person, doing drive-in services. Our partner church is Common Table Online, which meets virtually on Wednesday and Saturday evenings, as well as Sunday mornings. And then our other partner church is Faith Point United Methodist in Urbana, which is now meeting on Sunday mornings at Urbana Middle School doing a drive-in church service. Find faith-based programs, Celebrate Recovery programs, church services to get plugged into. Or you can take a different approach and you can share what's going on in your life. You can share in many ways. And I want to read another scripture that I read this week that really hit home with me and reinforced the need to share on my part and the need to put out what God has been providing or moving, the ways he's been moving in your life. In 1 Corinthians 15:58, it says, "Therefore, my beloved, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain." Whatever you are doing right now, if you are doing it with God in mind, with your higher power in mind, with the right focus, it won't be in vain. You don't have to be plugged in 100% of the time to something faith or recovery related. Your job, if you're doing it for the glory of your higher power, Jesus Christ, it won't be in vain. You'll find a new awakening in your work. If you're being encountered by people at work, in your social gatherings, whatever it is, if your focus is on your higher power and what God's will is for your life, you will have a positive impact in others. A couple of the other ways that you can get plugged in this time, if you're familiar with the YouVersion Bible app, there are beautiful, endless devotionals and reading plans available. Do them with others. Find somebody, and I am not currently doing one, so if you want to find one to do, I will do it with you. Just let me know. But you can do reading plans or devotionals together with other people, and there's a great feature in there where you can read the devotional and the scripture and then share your reaction, answer a question, or just share a thought. And then the person or people you're doing with can interact with you, and it can be life-breathing and motivating. You can have a positive impact on the people around you. But most important, and this is the one I want to spend a little bit of extra time on, is you've got to find a way to share. You've got to find a way to express what's been happening in your life. You've got to find a way to express what's happened already in your life. And it can be within the open share group in Celebrate Recovery. It can be on social media. There are so many ways that you can share part of what's going on with you. Just recently, a good friend of mine is doing their own devotional, and this week twice sent me emails with reactions to what they had read during their devotional and just typing out some thoughts that they had related to the devotional they did that day. And I cannot tell you how impactful it was for me just reading this person, my close friend's thoughts and how they reacted. It was powerful for me. And it can be as simple as that for you. Just type up an email, put together a text message, call someone, and just share a thought you have. If you found something encouraging, motivation, it does not need to be profound. It does not to be long and lengthy. You don't have to be long-winded like I always am. You can just share what quick thought you had or what reaction you had to something you read or saw or listened to. I want to read for you a quote. There is an author, an activist, L.R. Nost, and she is the founder of the children's rights advocacy and family consulting group called Little Hearts Gentle Parenting. And she has this beautiful quote that just hits home with me. She said, "Don't hide your scars, your stretch marks, your laugh lines, your calloused hands. They are your life story. Telling of struggles won and lost, challenges faced, losses overcome, life grown and birthed and nurtured, hard work accomplished, stars reached, hopes dashed, dreams realized, rock bottoms and mountaintops. They tell the story of your one amazing, awful, beautiful life written in the curves and lines of extraordinary, miraculous, beautiful you. I like to talk and I like to express how I'm feeling, but I cannot put in more beautiful words how that was expressed. And after reading that, I feel motivated to share a part of my story with others. And I'm going to take it away tonight to reach out to somebody this week, or more than one person, and share part of my story with them. And if you reach out to me, maybe I'll share my story with you or part of it with you. Reach out and ask me for it. There are so many ways that we can share our story and that we can share what's happened or what's going on in our lives. They can be simple posts on social media or through conversations we have with others, or you can do something beautiful like all L.R. Nose did and write out that beautiful piece. You can write blog posts, you can write down a story, you can become a writer and write out a fiction story to express part of you. You can create a really quick and simple video that you can share. You can write it out and have someone else read it for you, or have someone else do a video reading your story for you. I would love to hear what you have to say. I would love to hear part of your story. And if you're feeling motivated to share part of your story, let me know, because I'd love to talk through it with you. And if you feel comfortable, I'd love for you to put together a 2, 5, 10, 20-minute video, and we'll share it right here. So please consider the ways that you can share a piece of you, a story of your life, what you've been through, what you're going through. Consider the ways that you can serve. Let's turn it over to Carol as she leads us through the Serenity Prayer.
Hi, everyone. I am a grateful believer in Jesus Christ who struggles with depression, anxiety, and being the daughter of an alcoholic. My name is Carol. Please join with me now as I read the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen.
Thank you, Carol. I mentioned earlier about how some of the details and the statistics that I learned about overdoses and opioid addiction and issues in our local area really impacted me and led me to want to talk about how we can serve and help one another through this time. There's also another timely thing that really hit home with me and helped me really feel encouraged to share ways that we can be an impact on those around us. So you may have participated in our survey that we did recently. We put out a survey trying to get a pulse for how everyone's feeling right now and what your, I guess, interest is or desire is as we try and navigate whether we continue in a virtual online meeting method or if we move in a direction trying to get back to meeting in person. But one of the questions that was posed on that survey was, how has COVID-19 impacted you? And if you look at this graphic that I'm showing you, you can see that almost 80% of the people that responded said that they have been experiencing increased anxiety or levels of stress. And then you can see the people that responded with their job or income has been impacted. They've experienced stalled growth, recovery, or progress during COVID-19, or they're just feeling isolated or lonely. But 80% or nearly 80% experiencing increased anxiety or stress levels. And I am one of those people. This has not been an ideal environment for me just because I feed off of being around and interacting with other people, and I haven't had that opportunity, and I haven't had the joy of seeing the smiles in person on other people, and just seeing how our community is experiencing anxiety and stress. We need to be supportive of one another. And if we're going through a struggle and we reach out and offer a supportive voice, or we be a supportive presence to those around us, we're going to be encouraged and we're going to receive just as much as we give. We're going to feed off of being present and serving with one another. And then I just wanted to give a quick shout out, because this virtual Celebrate Recovery, these messages we've been doing, this has not been planned. We started this program to have weekly in-person meetings and spend all of our time in person and have the ability to have coffee with one another or get snacks occasionally and hang out and talk as a group and meet in person. But I just wanted to give a shout out because your Celebrate Recovery ministry leaders and others have done so much for this ministry during COVID-19 and while we've been pushed into meeting virtually. So I just want to throw a quick shout out. During this season, we've created 30 original messages. Every message that you've heard during COVID-19 virtually is an original message. We didn't find it elsewhere. We didn't take something that was laid out for us. We came up with the message, and we've had 7 people either participate or give a message online during this time. So we've had 7 people giving back their time, their energy, and their focus to put out and I think tonight is actually number 31 for original messages that have been put out. And then we've also participated, co-hosted 3 Facebook Live events. We have had to adapt and find ways because we feel that this ministry and our time together is so important and can be so life-giving. We've had to be willing to adapt the way that we are operating and adapt the way that we interact and engage with one another. I would challenge you to look at the ways that you're giving back and sharing with the community around you and think about ways, can you adapt what you're doing so that you can give back a little bit more, so that you can be in service to others a little bit more. And I just want to end tonight by reading one of the scriptures that I read earlier. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58, it says, "Therefore, my beloved, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain." So as we close tonight, I just pray that you can be steadfast, be immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, and that your labor would not be in vain. Thank you for letting me share. Go with God.